away, days burn, disintegrate, years roll along and fade. Don't let them slip away. Right here, right now, today. These are the good old days. Right here, right now, today. Hey, these are the good old days.
In 1972, an author from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, David Morrell, wrote a novel called First Blood about a character named Rambo, who was a Vietnam War vet who came home with PTSD, at that point in time called Vietnam Vet Syndrome. In the novel, he waged war against a small town that was mistreating him. As you can tell, this is not exactly content for a child's toy line. 10 years later, in 1982, a movie was made starring Sylvester Stallone called First Blood, an adaptation of the novel. The difference in the two stories was at the end of the novel, Rambo died. However, in the movie adaptation, Rambo went off to prison. Again, not exactly the content for a children's toy line. Now, 3 years after that, Rambo returned in Rambo First Blood Part 2. As the novel and the first movie dealt with serious matters about Vietnam War vets and PTSD, but had some good action beats in it, Rambo First Blood Part 2 was a throwdown, bare-knuckle, 80s action movie. And it exploded, and Rambo became a household name. And that led, the following year, in 1986, to a Rambo cartoon called Rambo and the Forces of Freedom, which of course led to a Coleco toy line. Now, the toys made by Coleco stood about 6 inches tall and were fantastic. The likenesses at the time of Richard Crenna and Sylvester Stallone as Colonel Troutman and Rambo are second to none. They are beautiful sculpted figures. And the line was very deep. There was great vehicles, play sets, and there was a higher guns to figure ratio in this line than any line released probably to this day. It was rife with guns. The playset came with crates of extra guns. This was all about firepower and weaponry, just like Rambo. Now, as a child, when I first saw Rambo First Blood Part 2 in the summer of 1987, I was infatuated. I loved everything about it. I wanted to be Rambo. Matter of fact, that summer my grandfather carved me this knife so I could play Rambo all summer, and I did. When I got my first Rambo action figure from a yard sale that summer, my mind was blown to see this very movie-accurate figure. You see, the figures, although were based on the cartoon, really took their cues and likenesses from the movie. There were 2 Rambo figures released in the line. One, based off his appearance in Rambo First Blood Part 2, and one wearing blue jeans and a sleeveless hoodie, which bore a striking resemblance to his appearance in the original movie First Blood. Recently, I picked up both these Rambo figures in some bargain bins, and they are just the figure, so today we're going to arm him with Rambo's iconic knife and holster. Alright, so we have here our 2 Rambo figures, the main Rambo figure, and this is Firepower Rambo. Again, he kind of looks like the first movie, and this guy kind of looks like the second movie. So we are going to give them both an iconic Rambo knife, which almost became a character on its own self in the 80s, and we're going to make them some belts for those knives and some holsters as well. So the first thing we're going to do is get our material for those knives, and I went to the Dollarama today, and they were out of kitty litter boxes. So I was like, what are we going to do? So we're going to try using this storage basket. It's kind of the same deal. We're going to cut the bottom out of it, and we're going to try and run it through the cricket. All right, once we have our material cut, we're going to open up our Cricut design space. We want to import our knife design. Now the knife design we've made up here has a Rambo 2 blade and a Rambo 3 blade, so you can choose which of the 2 blades you want to use. But we're going to be making a Rambo 2 knife today. Again, all of our designs are available downloading from our Facebook page. And once we have it sized properly, we just cut it out. All right, so you can see here we've cut out our two knife blades and our cross guard there. So I'm going to pop these out, and then we'll work on assembling them with the handle.
Well, what do we have here, huh? Why would you be carrying a knife like this?
All right, so here's our blade of our knife, and it's got this little tail on the end of it. And here's, again, our cross guard. So we're going to just slide, when it's all punched out, it should just slide in there like that and fit there. So now it just needs a handle, and to do that, we're going to revisit the Papermate pens that we used for trap jaws attachments. We're going to use the other half of those pens. Okay, so here is the leftovers from the pen that we used to make an attachment for trap jaw. You can see the front is gone, so it's just the back. But this end of the pen here is going to be the perfect size for Rambo's knife handle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it off just above where this lip is to give it a little bit of a lip. And it's real soft plastic, so just be very careful and it'll just slide right through. You have a sharp knife like Rambo would have, and we're going to have our knife handle. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to fill this handle with hot glue. Then we're going to slide the blade in. So there's our Rambo knife, and it is going to fit into his hand perfectly. And we'll give it the second one that we've made to the other Rambos. Now they both have their iconic Rambo knives.
Whatever possessed God in heaven to make a man like Rambo?
God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
All right, so for the holsters or the sheaths for the knives, both these figures when they first came out had a belt with a knife holder on it. This guy's was black and this guy's was light brown. So at the local dollar store, I found this synthetic craft leather, and there's a black and a brown roll in there. So I'm going to put that in the Cricut and cut out our predetermined Cricut design for the belt that I've made. You can download that off of our Facebook page, and we're going to make them up. So once again, we're going to open up our Cricut design space, and we are going to import the sheath design, which again is available on our Facebook page. And once we get that in, we're going to size it properly, and then we're going to let the Cricut do its thing. All right, so we have two pieces of the sheath. We have the actual sheath where we're going to fold it over and sew it together, and then we're going to take that and we're going to sew it to this little flap here, and then he'll have his belt ready to go. So first thing we're going to do is just sew this knife sheath together. Okay, so you can see here we've sewn together our sheaths for the knives. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew it onto this little protrusion here so that it'll be fastened onto the belt. What I'm going to do now is, as we have our belt here sewed to our holster, is we're going to take some of this adhesive Velcro and just put it on a little on each side, and then we'll be able to Velcro this belt onto our action figure. All right, so we have our Velcro adhered on there, and then our Rambo figure will have his belt just like so. And we can take out his knife, and it will slide right into his holster, and he's ready for Brian Dennehy. So there you go. There's our quick fix on how to give Rambo a new knife and how to give him a holster to put that knife in. So he's ready for whatever action comes his way. If you had a good time today, if you like what you're doing, if you're having fun, click like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the YouTube stuff, and we'll see you next week.